The Midmarket Institute, the hub for mid-sized companies, suppliers, and advisors worldwide.
Germany has a quarter of America's population and yet 4 times the net exports, that is, exports minus imports. It is the second largest exporter behind China and ahead of the United States. It has the world's largest trade surplus, ahead of even China. The secret to Germany's success is the German Mittelstand, the German mid-market. The German Mittelstand does things differently and dominates many industry niches across the world. We spent a considerable amount of time speaking to Mittelstand experts and Mittelstand CEOs in Germany and the US. We wanted to get behind the hype and find out what their secret sauce was. What did they do differently? And what could we learn from them? Topping our list of experts is Professor Dr. Hermann Simon, author of the book Hidden Champions, about the creme de la creme of the German Mittelstand. He wrote this book almost 15 years ago to try and distill how these Mittelstand companies operate and what makes them so successful. Some of them have market shares globally of 70 to 80% and dominate their market niches. One of his foremost findings was they tended to have a very narrow product focus. They found very deep niches, but they had a very wide reach on market. Many of them have 70, 80% global market share in a specific niche that they chose. This is a book about the Mittelstand, really, but you called it Hidden Champions. Why did you come up with the name Hidden Champions?
Because these Mittelstand companies are true champions. Okay. 70% of the companies I have investigated are world market leaders, number one in the global market, but nobody knows them. That's even true for Germany. Partially that's intended, they are very secretive, but a broader reason is that many of their products are invisible. They disappear in the engine of a car or in other end products. Or you simply do not think that somebody has to make the buttons on your suits. The world leader in buttons is a German company, strangely enough. So we have thousands of products which are very unperceived, you could say, which are made by these hidden champions. And this width of the product portfolio of German companies is one of the reasons why Germany is so strong in global exports.
It appears to me that Germany has a higher concentration of these niche companies. I think you even call them super niches, right? Company, than anywhere else in the world. Is there a formula to find these niches?
This is a formula, but I think niches creates a wrong perception because you think that niches are very small. This is true if you look at an individual country. The niche is small. But if you look at the global market, even niches have very large market potential. So the two pillars are actually the focus on a narrow market, call it a niche, combined with globalization. The focus makes a market small and is a requirement to become world-class. The globalization makes the market large enough. So many of these companies have several hundred million or even 2-3 billion dollars or euros in revenue because they truly serve the global market. And the super niches are companies which have more than 80% or sometimes 100% of the global market. And this is really a great area of growth because they profit from the growth in the emerging countries. They are there and grow with these markets. Like the motto of Miele, the premium washing machine, their motto is always better.
Always better.
Always better. And that is their life. That is their culture. Rather continuous permanent innovation, small improvements, then one big innovation, big breakthrough every 5 or 10 years.
Next, we met with Professor Dr. Bernd Venor, Professor of Strategic Management at the Berlin School of Economics. He did a follow-up study on the 400 companies that Professor Simon had looked at and found that most of them were amazingly vibrant 15 years later. What Professor Venor said was these companies use what he calls advanced common sense. In other words, just common sense once you look at it, but he called it advanced common sense because they stuck with it over an extended period of time. They aren't MBAs, he says, and they don't use any fancy analytics. Instead, they are driven by a tremendous desire to keep their customers happy and to help their customers do better. So let's talk about the admiration for the Mittelstand. Okay, so what makes the Mittelstand so successful? They must be doing something different. What do they do differently? You studied it.
I studied it. You know, it's. I don't like actually the word common sense because it seems too simple, and maybe it's advanced common sense. Advanced common sense.
Okay, that's a new phrase now.
It's a new phrase. I like that because it's, Ram. If you on the fundamental level, some very simple stuff. Yeah, there's an intensive customer focus, but not on the surface, but it's it comes from your heart. Because it's kind of the founding principle. I want to solve a burning customer problem, and that's the center. It's the center of any good company, probably. But in this company, since they're mid-sized, they still keep this close customer intimacy. In Germany, you have, as another aspect, you have a lot of companies are founded by engineers, scientists, non-professional managers. We don't have many professional managers in quotation marks because we don't have a strong business school culture. So in my estimation, about 60% of those 1,800 world leaders I have identified are run by engineers who have never seen a business school. Period. So it's a very different climate. And they use common sense.
Yeah? So you're saying they are more prone to then wanting to do it because they want to help the customer.
Yeah, they want to have not for altruistic purposes.
Yeah.
They just want to solve a customer problem. They want to make some money.
Okay.
But they're not driven by, I want to build a business, want to sell it in 10 years. Or I know the latest financial gimmicks. I know, they are very good engineers in any field. And they say, I want to provide a superior solution. I want to sell it at a profit. I want to make a good business out of it.
So the
very
motivation
simple.
is different. Okay.
Very simple. I mean, it's like very basic common sense.
Then I met with Professor Dr. Ulrich Blum, the president of the Halle Institute of Economic Research, which is in East Germany. He's a noted expert on the Mittelstand, amongst other things. He explained how American manufacturers could benefit from the German government's efforts to revitalize the East German economy after decades of communist rule. So what are some opportunities for American companies? The American economy is in trouble as well.
Yeah.
What are some opportunities for American companies to work, especially with the Mittelstand in Germany?
Two things. East Germany is interesting for American firms, and we know that because of its research intensity in public research. We make a foreign direct investment survey, and there are two important results. Firms love to go into East Germany because they can connect to the local innovation system. But they not only they siphon out knowledge from the local innovation system, they also invest into the local innovation system. It's a giving and taking. So it's always these two things. And if you go to other areas of post-communist Europe, it's much less developed. So that is a really big difference that we find out, and it's more important than financial incentive systems and all other things. The first thing is they provide an excellent public research system, which is, I think, better than in West Germany.
It's better in East Germany than in West Germany?
It is better because it's the share of public research in income or in per inhabitant is larger, is 30, 50, 40% larger in East Germany than in West Germany. If you have a high-tech company and you have, as a Western company, international company, you have forgotten to do research, one of the best things is to do is to buy up a medium-sized
Yes.
enterprise from East Germany that is a technological leader.
See, that is one of the things I heard today,
Yeah.
saying that there are many companies in East Germany that are good acquisition candidates.
Yeah, but yeah,
I then had a very interesting talk with Dr. Patrick Adenauer, grandson of the former German Chancellor Konrad Adenauer. He's the president of ASU, the German Association of Family Entrepreneurs. He described many of the distinctive characteristics of the Mittelstand. What particularly struck me was the focus that the Mittelstand has on multi-generational thinking. They think in the for the long term, and they're not motivated by quick profit or performance this quarter. What can American businesses learn from the way the German family-owned businesses are run? Are there some key things that you think make you stand out?
Yeah, it's, I think, the long-lasting environment we have. We think in a couple of years or tens of years, not in 3 months reporting cycles, quarters. So this is a difference. Then it's the idea of keeping the business instead of selling it.
Yeah.
And it's not growth is the main thing.
Yeah.
I think we want to see opportunities and want to achieve new things, be innovative, but not growth as a first thing. I think as important is security. There shouldn't be one deal or one thing, one product which you start, which could risk your whole company. So it's always valuing opportunities and risk on the one hand, opportunity on the other hand, the risk, and to make the best out of it. So to have probably not a growth like this, like this, which is more continuous, and it's probably easier and is not as risky.
So you want to be like the tortoise, not the hare.
Right, yeah, right.